Okay, now all you kids got a release form. You fill it out, you sign it, and then you hand it over when you get your official entry numbers. Only read it first. You break a leg, we fix it. You catch a cold, there's free aspirin. But acts of God, the management is strictly not to be held to account. Fire, flood, double pneumonia, that's between you and him. So read it and then sign. Benefit of the first-timers, we go around the clock, and around and around and around. 10-minute break every 2 hours. Rollo? That's the warning signal. If it's your partner, you got exactly 30 seconds to get 'em moving again. No excuses, no explanations. 30 seconds. If it's two knees, Rollo. That's it, out. O-U-T, out. Now we're going to run it as fair as human nature allows. So in one of the judge's rules, that's it. No appeals. When your partner is ruled out, you can solo for 24 hours. If you match up with another solo, fair enough. Otherwise, that's it. Out. There'll always be a trainer or a nurse on duty, and a doctor out here 24 hours a day. Okay? Now food. 4 regular meals and 3 small ones each day. Now.
What the hell's going on over there?
Sorry.
Hey, kid, fill this out.
Hey, get over there. I was just...
Come on, get over there, get over there. Now, there'll be 2 judges on the floor at all times. Nurses and trainers in the rest areas. Any questions, come up and ask them. Hey, fellas, give me a break. In a couple of hours, we fling open the magic doors of fame and fortune, so line up and get your numbers.
Right here. Your application. All right. Yeah, we'll take care of that. Don't worry. All right. The office form. Yes, that's all right. Now, let's go. Please. Yeah, that's all right.
What do you want these, Rocky?
Come here, this second. Turkey, check the rest areas.
You're all right. This is the first time you've been a country? All right. night, Ben. From where?
Some system. Just like the fleet. Line up and wait, only longer. Hey, how about goosing it up a little?
You get your turn. Take it easy, huh? Hey, what's this stuff, Hooch?
No, that's for my stomach. I got a bad stomach.
Tarragora, opium base. No number.
Hey, look, he's got another one.
It's medicine. I gotta take it for my stomach.
So take it somewhere else. I got enough trouble without a hophead.
You heard him. School's over. Blow.
That's no fair, just because the guy's got a bad
Hire a
stomach.
lawyer. Come on, next. Move it up.
Once between hitches, I worked a cattle boat out of Galveston. Same thing, you know what I mean?
No, I didn't think I do, actually.
Well, what I mean is, if you think about it, cattle ain't got it much worse than us.
They got it better. There's always somebody feeding them.
Sure. Stuffing them up good for the slaughter pen. Right down the chute, and some big dumb bull hunker standing there with a sledgehammer. Boom.
But they don't know what's gonna happen. That puts them one up on us, don't it?
Yeah. If you think of it that way. What's the matter with him?
Nothing.
Kid's got a specialty of some kind.
I'm an actress, Alice LeBlanc, from London.
What do you got, like an actor? But maybe let's see a little.
Well, if you give us a few seconds, we could work something up, okay?
Yes. They told me you were fools, that I was not to listen to your fine words, nor trust your charity.
Jesus Christ.
You promised me my life, but you lied. You think that life is nothing but not being stone dead.
Alice. Hey, that's great. I really mean it. Shakespeare, huh?
It's from St. Joe.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Maybe it's a little too highbrow, but don't you worry. I'll set up something just right for you.
Okay, next. Hey, sailor. Sailor.
Hey, Rock, look at this. 31.
Yeah, 31. What do I need, a note from my mother?
It's your feet, sailor.
Next. Move it. Move it.
Doc, you sick or something?
It's all right.
Open up. Wider. Huh? Wider.
What is this? He's all right.
Bronchitis, maybe. Yeah, maybe the Mongolian crud. No dice, kid. You infect the whole place, and I got the health department setting you up a squawk. That's the way it is.
Next.
I'm sorry, Gloria.
That's a big help. Listen, you're the one that talked me into
I'm
this.
sorry.
Hey. Hey, what about me?
I'm sorry. How many you got?
That's what he said. I can't buy coffee and Snickers with it.
Look, I can't make exceptions. How many you got?
71 gone through, and I'm holding out for a few pros.
What about her? Hey, if she ain't pregnant, I'm Nelsonetti.
So what's healthier than having a kid? And it gives the audience something to root for.
So what do you want me to do? Run out quick and get knocked up?
We could discuss it later.
That soap's a little hard.
Sir, is this or not?
Just hold on a second. You got any other suggestions?
Get yourself another partner.
Yeah, where?
Hey, cowboy! Yeah, you. Come here.
Good luck, Paige.
Keep the line moving.
Look, I was just out walking. I didn't come here to be in...
That a fact. What's your name, cowboy?
Robert Cyberton.
Rocky. In a minute. You got a partner, Richard?
No, it's Robert. No, I was just walking.
There you are, miss.
How's he gonna dance in those things?
How do
You
I
mean the
know?
boots? They're not mine. I roomed with another guy. He went away and left them
He's gonna
behind.
break an arch.
Take him off a pair of shoes. Or maybe you'd rather wait for the Prince of Wales.
Have I got a choice?
Yeah. Take it or leave it. Yowza, yowza, yowza. Welcome to the dance of destiny, ladies and gentlemen. Around and around and around we go, and we're only beginning, folks. Only beginning. On and on and on. And when stop? When will it end? When? Only when the last two of these wonderful, starry-eyed kids are left. Only when the last two dancers stagger and sway, stumble and swoon across the sea of defeat and despair to victory. One couple and only one will waltz out of here over broken bodies and broken dreams, carrying the grand prize of $1,500 silver dollars. Mr. Lightman, the clock of fate, ladies and gentlemen. I said the prize because only one couple will dance on to fame and fortune. Those who give up, those who give out, those who give in. Out! Tough rules, but these are tough times. In the words of our great leader, Herbert Hoover, prosperity is just around the corner. But what do we say about the Depression? That's what we say about the Depression. Come on, let's hear it, folks. Let's hear it.
Walking Dead night, Turkey. Pour me a shot of water.
So pick your couple, folks. Struggle with them, hope with them, cry with them. See if you can pick out that one lucky couple and then cheer them on. Come on, let them hear you care, folks. Let them know you're with them all the way. You hear that, kids? You hear those wonderful folks out there rooting for you? Now come on, kids, show them you care. A little sprint for those wonderful folks out there. That's it. You see them give, folks. You see them give. That's the spirit.
So why California?
You don't freeze while you're starving. And there's the movies.
Oh, are you an actress?
I've done 4 atmosphere bits since I've been here. I'd have done more, but I can't get into central casting. They got it all sewed up.
Don't you know anyone who can help you?
In this business, how can you tell who can help you? One day you're an electrician, the next day you're a producer. The only way I could ever get near a big shot is to jump on the running board of his car. God, check that one. Anyway, I don't know if the men's stars can help me as much as the women's stars. From what I've been seeing lately, I think I've been letting the wrong sex try to make me. You in movies too?
Sort of. I was a dead French villager in Fallen Angels.
Wasting your time, kiddo. Only thing casting von Sternberg's Raw Earth. Strictly an all-peasant talkie.
I could play a peasant.
Not in that thing you couldn't.
You like
Doesn't matter.
not so long as they do.
Hey, sweetie. Got another partner, huh? Oh, only he don't look much healthier than the last one.
What are you, a doctor?
They don't mean nothing, honey.
Just trying to be helpful. Cod liver oil. You ought to take some, maybe.
He's just steaming because you got 20 years on him. Maybe more like 30.
Well, that's where you got your signals mixed up, sweetie. Yeah, experience, that's what counts. Keep your eyes open, Buster. Pick up the beat and try to stay with me, will you? Stop time.
That's the kind of contestants we've got for you, folks.
Very classy, sailor. You must have killed him in Roseland. Back before the
How
job
about a
started.
big hand for our very own ancient mariner, Harry Klein? Yowza, yowza, yowza. Thank you, folks. That's very generous. You can all see that Harry used to be in the U.S. Navy. There's something you can't see. I'd like to be serious for a moment, folks, if you'll permit me. Harry Klein is one of those brave young men who sailed off to beat the Kaiser. That's right, a veteran of the Great War. And let's hope there'll never be another. Harry was decorated in that war for wounds received in action. But that's not all. I know Harry wouldn't want me to tell you this, but right now, at this moment, there are 32 separate pieces of shrapnel still embedded in Harry's body. 32! And here he is fighting another kind of war and fighting to win. Isn't that the kind of grit and never say die spirit that's made this a great country it is, isn't it? You bet it is. And I really mean that sincerely, folks, from the bottom of my heart.
I should have learned how to tap dance.
You okay?
Hope I don't start lugging on you.
Hey, you ain't never lugged on me. Just keep thinking about them 7 meals a day they're gonna be feeding us.
Can you feel that?
What?
The ocean. The waves, you can feel them right through the floor. You know, even when you're a long ways away from it, you can still feel it sometimes.
Not where I'm from.
Where's that?
Around. Kansas, Texas, mostly Dallas.
That must have been nice.
Nice.
Well, I've never actually been through there, but that's the way it always seemed to me. You know, like you could look just about anywhere and see land. I mean, with nothing set down on it.
Yeah, it's great. I'm a real sucker for dirt and cactus. That's how come I left.
Well, why did you leave?
You ever been to bed with a Syrian who'd chew tobacco? Well, if anybody ever asks you, you can tell them there's no future in it. What do you want, the whole floor?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
I wish she's throwing it around. Her feet'll last longer than her rear end. He was a butcher.
Who was?
Syrian.
Hey, listen, I didn't mean to be personal. I didn't mean to be personal.
Yeah, then why'd you ask?
Well, just to make conversation. I mean, we're gonna be stuck together for a long time.
Don't strain anything for me.
All right.
Yowza, yowza, yowza. This is novelty night. We've got a husband and wife dancing together. Mr. and Mrs. Ora McCusick Mary from Minneapolis, Minnesota. There's a couple from Alaska. Remember, there's no place like Nome. Don't forget to write your poor old mother. Yowza, yowza, yowza.
All right, kiddies, it's opening night. Smile for the audience.
What audience?
Don't worry about that, huh?
He could get you disqualified.
I've been disqualified by experts.
10 minutes and then they'll be back. And the World's Championship Marathon will go on and on and on and on and on.
Laundry bag here. Towels and soap in there. It's very simple. Keep it in mind, the laundry bag stays in here. Towels and soap in that room only.
Excuse me, girls. Miss LeBlanc, you got that specialty bid down yet?
I'm memorizing it now. Every line.
Swell. Come by my office next break. Maybe we'll run through it.
Oh.
better get off your feet.
When's the baby due?
Don't know.
What'd the doctor say?
Well, see, James and me been hitching, riding boxcars.
Nature's little miracle. Christ.
What?
What's the use of having a kid unless you got enough dough to take care of it?
You better get off your feet, honey. You only got another 5 minutes.
Folks can't stop having babies because they don't got no money.
You intend to keep it?
I could never get... Jimmy wants the baby.
Yeah. Why not drop another sucker into this mess?
I told you guys, no roughhousing. Now, no grab ass there, college kid.
What's the matter there, boy?
Well, this ain't for me. I got sensitive feet. Next time, I think I'm gonna try flagpole sitting. You guys are crazy, ain't you?
That's really pitiful, man. Can't even make it to the first rest period. This here's my 8th marathon already. My wife and I even won one in Oklahoma City one time. We went 1,253 hours of continuous motion.
First one of these, huh, kid?
How you doing, young fella?
I'm fine, Doc. It ain't first cabin. Hell, it ain't even steerage, but it's better than nothing.
Well, I figured I wasn't doing anything else real important, so here I am.
You know what I'd do if I was your age, kid? I'd join up all over again, the fleet.
No, I don't think I'd like that. I mean, I'd like to be able to move on if I got bored or something, you know?
Bumming? That's all right for a while. Man's got to belong somewhere. You know, be part of something. I mean, that's human nature, right?
Well, I guess I never really thought about it much.
Yeah, well, you will. When you get to be my age, you will. Not that I'm that old, you know. That's the muscles up here that count, kid. Even more so than your legs. Right up in there.
Easy come, easy go. That's the way. If love must have its day, then as it came, let it go. No remorse, no regret. We should part exactly as we met. Just easy come, easy go.
No, you wait for Tayaniko. She wait for you. The petals of many flowers will fall, but Tayaniko will wait forever.
Alice, Alice, that is terrible.
Well, it just doesn't suit me. I'll ask Mr. Garvey to find something else for us.
I think you'd better.
Hey, Hot Lips. Get that in Paris?
No, my mother made it for me. Do you like it?
It's, very nice.
Easy go. Here we are. So, darling,
He said after the first 100 hours, you start getting used to this. What are you looking at?
There's a partially broken window up there someplace. I was trying to see if it was light out yet.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes down by the beach it gets late by 4. It's like that in Hawaii. Because it's an island, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, you can look right out across the ocean to where the light is. You can even stand in one spot and watch the sun come up on one side of the world and go down on the other side.
How'd you get out there, Hawaii?
Oh, I've never been there, actually, but you can imagine what it's like.
Yeah, you can imagine you're Gary Cooper, too, I suppose.
Oh, I didn't mean that at all. Look, why are you always trying to start an argument? All I meant was...
Hey, you tell that twist to lay off of my wife. She was at it again. Every one of them rest periods, she's on her all the time about why don't she have it cut out? Why don't she get rid of it? Well, she's giving Ruby the jumps, and I ain't having my wife upset by no tramp like her.
Go to hell, you big ape.
Don't.
Boy, next time I'm gonna do
Hey,
a lot
knock
more
it
than
off.
flirt.
Well, you know the rules. No fights on the floor. Now, what do you think? This is a joint or something?
I'm keeping an eye on you.
Which one? That was stupid. You see the face on that corn pony? Could have killed you.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, then why did you do it?
Because you're my partner.
How long we got left?
Wouldn't you know it? I got the curse coming on.
Well, don't let them give you any coating. It'll pass you out.
Around and around and around. 97 hours of continuous motion. And look at him, folks, still struggling, still hoping to win the grand prize of 1,500 silver dollars. Let's give these wonderful, courageous kids a great big hand, huh, folks? That's the spirit.
You want to sleep some?
No, I'm too tired to sleep.
Sailor says you gotta go a long time. Maybe 500 hours before you can get so you can sleep while you're still moving. You look tired.
No kidding.
Why don't you try sleeping on my shoulder? I won't let you slip. You can trust me.
That's what the last guy said.
What?
Forget it. Gloria. She's there again. She must live here.
We really ought to be nice to her, you know. Rolo told me she's trying to get us a sponsor.
Nobody asked her to.
Look, it could mean $4 a week, clean socks, and new shoes. Come on.
I'm Mrs. Layton.
Yes, ma'am, we know. One of the floor judges told us about how you're trying to get us a sponsor.
Well, that's because you're my favorite couple. You're wearing my number, 67. That's the year I was born.
Really? We're not supposed to stay in one spot for too long.
Oh, I understand. You go along, but don't give up, because you're going to win. I know you are.
Thank you.
Can't leave the floor. I gotta eliminate you.
Don't bother.
Figure them two.
They'll never know what they missed.
Why didn't you tell me it was going to be this tough?
You're holding your knees too tight. Nuts up the muscles.
65. Figured it out. That's how old she is. God, I hope I never live to be that old.
That's not the way it happened. It wasn't like that. We were very close, in a way. I was her friend.
Yowza, yowza, watch 'em eat, folks. It's all part of the show. 7 meals a day, 7, count 'em. Believe me, these boys and girls can really put it away. And what's your name, my dear? And how are you enjoying the food?
Very good.
You hear that, folks? After 4 days of continuous dancing, these boys and girls may not be well-heeled, but you can bet they're well-stuffed. 10 minutes' time is all they have to eat it in, and they must keep moving, they must keep dancing at all times. How are you doing, sailor?
I feel fine, but I feel fine.
The food is prepared in our own kitchens by our own culinary experts at great expense to the management, but they believe that these boys and girls should be well fed. Keep eating, kiddies, keep dancing. Yowza, yowza, yowza.
I have to.
Yeah. How are you going to feed it after you got it?
Couple number 65 in a scene direct from that smash Broadway hit, Private Lives. Our own Raymond Navarro and Jean Harlow, Mr. Joel Gerard and Miss Alice LeBlanc.
Did the workers? Did they? Do you think there's anyone in?
All the studio people. Let's go look.
Alice and Joel will be back with us again, if there's no Hollywood talent scouts in the audience tonight. And now, in keeping with our policy of letting you folks know everything that happens in our little family here, I am pleased to inform you that another sponsor has come forward to back still another pair of our spunky kids, couple number 67, Gloria Beatty and Robert Syverton. Let them see the company. Let them see the company that's backing you to win, kids. Congratulations, kids, congratulations. And who knows, folks, with a sponsor like that, they may just win.
Suppose we did win. What would you do with it?
What?
The money.
Maybe I'd buy some good rat poison.
What the hell is it?
It's 2 hours. You told me to get you up in 2 hours, Rocky.
Shake me out of butt turkey. Listen to them. Those wonderful, wonderful people. Yours. Shut it. Shut the goddamn door. Wonderful. You gotta understand him is all.
know something tricky? My old man never got out of the 4th grade. But when it came to people, he didn't know his ass from his elbow. You know what he was? He was a faith healer. I used to travel the circuit with him. I was the one he healed. I was his shield to get the crowd set up. Walk, my boy. When I lay my hand on you, you will walk. You will walk. That sodden old bastard. He thought it was him they believed in. But it was me.
Here's a guy whose fingers stretched over 13 notes. What are you doing here? It's a rest period. You're supposed to be off your feet.
I was just looking at the sunset.
Go on, get off your feet.
Okay.
Sunset.
Matron? Someone? Is this gone? Matron!
What is it?
It's gone. It's gone.
What's gone?
My dress!
It's right in front of you.
No, my other one, my pink one. Chemicals for my hair.
My rouge. And my lipstick.
Everything is gone. Somebody's taken it out of my bag.
No, nobody's taken anything. It's probably just slipped under here.
No, they did it. One of them did it. One of them stole my...
Right now, you stop. Stop it right now. Wait a minute. Stop it.
Give it
Oh,
back.
right, you heard it. You heard it. You know what that means. Out of the floor.
What the hell's
Damn
going
it,
on
you
here?
stop.
Who are you, Cyrus? Come on. Hurry up and get out there.
My dress. I had it in my case.
Hey, is she squirrely?
Oh, I don't think so.
My pink satin one.
Honey, you better shake it up. You only got a couple of seconds left.
But I only have 2 dresses.
Later. Just hustle
My
your
love
fanny out
set.
there. Come on.
Nobody wants your dress.
Please wait. Please wait.
You wear your other one.
Please wait.
Brother, can you spare a dime?
Why?
Nothing.
What are they doing it for?
It's not for fun. You can bet on that.
Christ. Here it comes.
I can't. Oh, Jimmy, I don't think I can.
Yeah, you can, honey. Just don't start thinking about it now.
Son of a bitch.
The thing to remember, kids, is this is the kind of stunt that packs him in. Listen, we'll even get some of the Hollywood crowd out there tonight. Now get one of those uniforms they're passing out and make sure you tie your numbers on. Hey, number 63. Easy on the goods, huh? Listen, kids, these track outfits are being rented for one time and one time only, so any rips, tears, or malicious damage, you get charged, okay? Now, we don't have enough uniforms to go around, so the rest of you will have to wear sweatsuits, but they're very nice. We'll have the doctor and the nurses on the floor so no one has to worry. Now, you kids who are pros already know how it works. I'm sure the rest of you have all heard about it. And now you're going to see it, Yowza, the Derby! The supreme test of energy and endurance. 10 solid, wrenching minutes of wreck and ruin, the Derby! Good, because you're in for an exciting extravaganza, Yowza, the Derby. And, if I may be permitted to share a thought with you, there's a lesson for all of us in it, ladies and gents. Contestants, if you hear me back there. You don't need to be number 1 as you amble down life's highway. But don't be last. Round and round and round they'll go for 10 little minutes. Who will set the pace? Who will win the race? Everybody excepting the last 3 couples. Let's go! And now, here they are. And looky, folks, they've got knees. They've got knees. Everybody here, okay, take a good look. Get your hankies ready, folks, because 3 couples are about to go bye-bye. Yes, indeed. Nurses in house position, are you ready? Audience, are you ready? All right, bring it in. Mr. Rhythm. Everyone wins in this race except the last three couples. The supreme test of energy and endurance. If one goes down, they have 10 seconds, and 10 seconds only to get up. And they must heel and toe. Hold your hands, folks. Here come the leaders. Floor judges, keep your eyes on the last three couples, because the last three couples will lose. There's a pilot in the far corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How about that, folks? Exciting? Well, I hope to tell you. You all right?
Oh, keep going.
The management cautions that no wagering is permitted, but you can always cheer on your favorite couple. And believe me, these wonderful kids deserve your cheers, because each one of them is fighting down pain, exhaustion, weariness, struggling to keep going, battling to win. And isn't that the American way? Ladies and gentlemen, I've just been informed that among our celebrity guest list for tonight is Mr. Mervyn LeRoy.
You hear that? Leroy! Who's Leroy? Only the best director in Hollywood!
How about it, Mr. LeRoy? Almost as much excitement here as in Little Caesar, right?
Heel and toe, sailor! Heel and toe, sailor! Or she's out! Come on, almost there.
Oh, there's trouble right here, folks. Trouble right here. The boy from couple number 78 is in trouble. Get a floor judge over there. 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. Uh-oh, couple number 78 is out of the World Championship Monster Marathon. But that's life. Let's give them a big hand. Yeah.
got real guts. I mean it.
Save your breath.
I hope you make it, baby.
30 seconds. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. The losers are couple number 22, 28, and 37.
We were last. It's okay.
I know it's a sad moment for all of us, but those are the rules, ladies and gentlemen. But after 602 hours, 25 days of continuous dancing, I think that these kids deserve a big hand.
Have you heard anything yet, Mr. Grover?
Don't worry about it, Alice. I've reported it to the authorities. We should hear something soon.
It can't just have disappeared. I mean, somebody must have taken it. It's not just my dress, it's my makeup and everything. I have nothing else.
The doctor's decision is Lillian Kramer stays on in the marathon. The doctor assures me Lillian just has a slight sinus headache.
Headache. For all that quack knows, she's got a brain tumor.
No, I don't think so. Only I'm not exactly sure, but I think it's different with a brain tumor. Different symptoms.
Yeah, how do you know?
I saw it in a movie. With Anita Louise and Richard Cromwell. That's what she died of, Anita Louise. A brain tumor, but it was different. Everything just suddenly got dim for her one day. Until finally she couldn't see at all. She couldn't even see Richard Cromwell when she kissed him goodbye.
Yeah? And what, she just died?
Kind of. She just drifted off listening to her favorite tune. And then she was dead.
No pain or anything? They probably lied.
Bobby? Hey. Hey, come on, kid. Come on. Come on, break's over. Come on. Tommy?
Yes, sir.
Kid's stupid.
Hey, Frank, we got a dead one here. Give me that ammonia. Do you know where you are?
Give him another dose.
No! Leave him alone. You all right? Hang on. You sure you can make it?
He's gonna be okay now.
I asked him, not you.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm all right.
Just like in marriage, folks, these kids have got to get off by themselves once in a while. But exhausted as they are, it's tougher to stay on their feet alone. So keep your eyes on them, because it may be all over soon for one of these brave, struggling kids. Tell him to turn up the Victrola.
No.
That won't help her now. Cheryl?
They're crawling on me.
Listen to me, Cheryl. Listen to me.
They're crawling on me.
Where are they? Tell me. Tell me where they are. Here. On your arm. Here. Your arm. Here. On your shoulder. There. They're all gone. They're all gone.
They're all gone.
Yes, they're all gone. Better douse her now.
Come on. Come on, honey. You're all right. You're all right. You're all right.
That's quite a technique. I would have thought you'd put her on display, charge a little extra.
too real. Gloria. Hope that little episode in there didn't shake you up too much.
No.
Cigarette?
No. No.
Ten minutes rest, folks, and then the dance goes on and on. Remember, one admission entitles you to stay as long as you like. So while the kids are resting and being attended to by our medical staff, why don't you visit our beautiful Palm Garden, where we serve refreshments of all types. Thank you, yowza.
Yeah, it looks kind of like her dress.
It is. You can tell just looking at it.
Well, even if it is her dress, it's ruined now. There's nothing I can do about it.
But aren't you going to try to find out? I mean, somebody stole it and ripped it all up. Maybe you should call everyone together and try and find out who did it.
It wasn't one of the kids.
How do you know?
Because I took it.
But why?
For the good of the show. That's what we're all interested in, isn't it? The show.
No, it's a contest. Isn't that what it's supposed to be? Isn't that what you advertised? A contest.
Not for them. For you, maybe, but not for them. You think they're laying out 2 bits of throw just to watch you poke your head up into the sunlight? Or Alice look like she just stepped out of a beauty parlor? They don't give a damn whether you win, or James and Ruby, or Mario and Jackie, or the Man on the Moon and Little Miss Muffet. They just want to see a little misery out there so they can feel a little better, maybe. They're entitled to that.
Look at us. We're all like this now.
30, swollen feet, no sleep. What do you want? Isn't that enough?
Sure, as long as they can believe in it. But how can they with Alice looking like she's on her way to a ball at Buckingham Palace? She was breaking the spell. Now she looks like she's supposed to, so now they can believe in her. Simple enough. Why don't you go sack out while you got a little break time left?
Yeah.
Robert? Take me outside.
We can't.
Please.
Alice, break's almost over. We can't.
Somewhere. Please, anywhere. Talk to me.
Alice.
Talk to me. Tell me things. Talk to me. Hold me. My strap, put it down. Kiss me. Hold me. Talk to me. Talk to me, Robert.
What about?
About you, about yourself, about where you with the buttons. About where you grew up. Tell me where you were born.
Chicago. I was born in Chicago.
Chicago. I've never been there. I can't imagine it. Tell me about your family. What does your father do?
He's dead. He was a pharmacist, but he died. It's caught, Alice.
Just pull at it.
He got the flu and he died. It's caught. I can't get it undone. What should I do?
Pull at it.
There.
Kiss me. Touch me. Kiss me. Kiss me. Hold me.
Alice, somebody's gonna come here.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Kiss me. Tell me about you. Did you have brothers and sisters?
No.
I had a brother. He died at the Somme. Guess what his name was? Try to guess. My brother.
I don't know.
Guess. Just guess.
I don't know.
So easy.
George, Robert.
No.
Alice,
Don't.
After I introduce you, play my favorite number, will you?
Well, shall we dance?
Go to hell.
perfect.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, our own Russ Columbo, Mr. Coley James.
Gloria?
Don't touch me. Don't.
Night and early morning fog is expected at all beach areas with temperatures in the low 50s. Tomorrow should be clear and warmer with a high of 64 downtown, 60 at the beaches, and 68.
I changed my mind. Your partner's waiting for you.
She was leaning against the railing. She was completely relaxed, completely comfortable. I didn't have a perfect view, but I could see enough of her face and lips to see that she was smiling.
1,000 hours! And to help us celebrate the occasion, Jeff Maxson and his music. Take it away, Jeff.
1,000 hours of continuous dancing, 42 days of grueling, branding, gravity-defying gyration. And here they still are, 21 courageous couples still dancing. And how long before one of them, and just one, will survive to win the Monster Marathon?
Gloria.
Who's that?
No one.
Want to talk?
No.
I wish you'd go back to her.
How? You know what she thinks?
Didn't happen.
Want to move on the other side?
No.
Sleep?
No.
The hell do you want? Anyone ever tell you?
Yeah, they told me.
And don't forget, folks, ladies free at the matinee tomorrow. Until 3 p.m., that is. And I have an important announcement here about John Hershman, the reserve seat cashier. He is now happily convalescing at Santa Monica Hospital with severe attack of appendicitis. We know that you join us, and congratulations to him, and wishing him a speedy recovery. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hey, up in the center of the floor. Those people are paying for to see you. Come on.
I'm coming.
belongs to
nice. Our own number 68, Mrs. Ruby Bates. A lovely little lady with an arm full of charm, a room full of courage, and a house full of hope. And I know you all join me in wishing her and her bundle of joy a joyous ride through life.
I just hope it was worth it to you.
You need the money.
It's celebrity time again tonight, folks. A welcome for Miss Helen Twelvetrees and that rising young star, Mr. Russ Alexander. But every night is celebrity night at the Mammoth Marathon. Yowza, yowza, yowza!
She looks like her kind of. Like my aunt. God, what a bitch.
Said he was gonna be here.
I mean, if there was a prize for bitches, she'd have won.
Glasses, short, balding guy. Pits like from acne.
Christ, you should have heard her screaming.
He's an
Get that
assistant
mangy
director.
mutt out of here. You ain't bringing no animal into my boarding house.
Going on a 10-day Western at Monogram.
I wouldn't have brought him back there anyway.
Maybe something for me in it. Something.
He just followed me, that's all.
Maybe.
And I wouldn't have kept him except she started screaming.
Hope he wasn't stringing me.
I said I'd tell her husband she was screwing one of the boarders. Which she probably was. But he was sick inside with something.
Her husband.
No.
On the border.
No, for Christ's sake, the dog. And it kept getting worse, so he'd shake all the time and dirty himself all over. And whine and cry all night long. Stupid damn thing. He kept whimpering and hollering and wouldn't shut up. I mean, what the hell is God doing sitting around up there? What the hell good is he if he can't even make one of the lousy sick dogs shut up and stop waking up her goddamn boarders? And you know what I did? See, after everybody had gone to bed, I carried him down to the parlor. And she had this mohair sofa. It was her favorite one. And I fixed him a place on it. What the hell, forget it.
You should be sleeping.
I'd just wake up.
You want anything? Something for your feet?
How about a saw?
I mean, is there anything the doctor can give you? Something to make you feel better?
What's he got?
Some aspirin.
That's what I figured. You seen Joel?
Yeah, I seen him all right. Boy, that's a real sweetheart you picked this time around. Just like that. And I'm the one that's got to tell Rocky.
Cheers.
You're getting any of that song and dance crap. What's going on?
Just exactly what appears to be going on. I've shaved, I've changed, and I am now packing.
For what?
I have a job. It's not much of a job, but it's a job. 10 days of the Monogram Western.
You bastard! You're not running out on me.
No? Just stand there and watch, sweetheart.
Will she make it? Will she make it? After over 1,100 hours of incredible endurance, there she is, alone, but still fighting, still hoping, still trusting Gloria Beatty.
17 hours, that's all she has left. Will she find a new partner before those hours run out? Will fortune reward her pluck and spirit? Will she make it?
I ain't quitting. I'm not gonna give up.
How the tabs?
Pretty much same. Don't close it down. Cleaning's up.
Yeah.
What happens if I don't get a partner?
We've got 11, almost 12 hours.
I can count. What happens?
You know the rules.
You could change them.
Crowds got to have something they believe in. Once they quit believing, they quit coming. Anything else, but not that.
Tommy, we got a dead one. Just give it. Here we go. Sailor. Jesus!
If 2 knees touch the floor, she's out.
Get her.
Shirley Clayton. We're going to miss you, Cheryl. Isn't that right, folks? So long, Cheryl. But don't despair. Every heart in this room is with you, and that's what really counts. It's hard on all of us, after we've lived all these hours and weeks together, to see one of these wonderful, courageous kids fall out. But life goes on, and so does the marathon. Heartbreaking hustle. Yowza! Over 1,200 hours of continuous dancing, and yet there they still are, fighting, struggling to stay in the race. But the last 3 couples will lose. The last 3 couples will be eliminated. Yowza, yowza! Come on, let's hear it, folks. Let's hear it over there.
arm around me. Lean on. Where does it hurt? What? Nothing.
1 minute!
It's just a little bit further. Come on, you salty old bastard. Where's the fight? Come on. Come on, God damn it. Hang on to me. I'm tired of losing. Come on.
It looks like our seafaring man and our little hard luck lady are in deep trouble.
Come on, God damn it. We're going to make it. Oh.
30 seconds!
Walk! 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 Walk, God damn it! Walk! We're gonna make it!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there are the losers. Get them to the spot. Arthur and Jean, Patty and Don, Dusty and Cecil. Let's have a big hand for the losers. Come on, folks, let's hear it. It looks like our ancient mariner may have taken a little spill. Nothing to worry about. Our house.
He's all right. Don't leave him alone. He's all right.
Get her out of here.
Please. Oh, come on, Taylor. You're
Get her
all right.
out of
No,
here.
he's going to be all right. Well, what are they doing to him? He's going to be all right.
I've just had a message from our house physician. Nothing in the least serious, just a case of heat prostration. And I understand that Harry, crusty old salt that he is, wanted to stay on in the marathon, but the doc says no, and when it comes to something like this, the doctor's word is law.
He's going to be all right.
So long, sailor. But we know you'll be back to see us and to cheer the other kids on. You have 10 minutes to enjoy yourself in our beautiful Palm Garden.
Nobody's going to hurt you. Don't you want to come on now? You might catch cold in there. You don't want to do that, do you? Please. I just want to help you. I just want to turn off the water, that's all. I just want to turn off the handle. All right, I won't. If you don't want me to. Tell me. Whatever it is, you can tell me.
Touched me.
Oh.
Touched me.
Get out of here!
Is he dead?
Sailor. You sailor? No. You have my personal word, he's gonna be fine.
Someone screamed.
That was you, Alice.
Boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl. That's the story of our sweetheart couple, Gloria Beatty and Robert Syverton. Yowza, yowza, yowza. Now, I'm no Hollywood scenario writer, but I know what the end of this story should be. Right, Robert? Right, Gloria?
Wrong.
Does the prisoner wish to make a statement to the court before sentence is passed?
No. No, sir.
Come in, kids. Just sit down and make yourselves comfortable. I know this is your rest period, so just sit down and rest. I had a little notion, kids, something that could help the show, something that could benefit all of us, and it in particular could benefit the two of you. And at the same time, give the folks out there something to get worked up about.
What are you gonna do? Put us in cages and let them throw peanuts at us?
Now, all kidding aside,
Who's kidding?
the thing I want is I want you two kids to get married. Right here on the dance floor. A public wedding. I mean, you get divorced right after the show if you want. It's just for effect. What do you say to that, Robert?
I don't know. I guess so.
He says no.
Does she do all the talking for you, Robert?
That's right.
Well, Robert, maybe it would be better if just her and me discussed it. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
But the idea is okay with you. That's what you said, right?
No, sir. I didn't say that at all.
All I said was...
Well, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It'll just be a minute. What's your problem? You're afraid of getting married?
You're not happy until you've screwed everything up, are you?
Now, wait a minute. Wait.
I'm not marrying anybody.
It's business. Strictly business, for God's sakes. Look, you come out with something. New clothes, plenty of free gifts, silverware, waffle irons, toasters, that kind of stuff.
What am I going to do with crap like that?
Sell it, hawk it. Look, for God's sakes, I'm trying to help you a little. Maybe you come out with $200 or $300, that's something. Unless you want to walk out of here with the pennies they're throwing at you.
Yeah? And what if just maybe we win?
Look, sweetheart, I've been in this business a long time. I may not know a winner when I see one, but I sure as hell can spot a loser.
You son of a bitch.
Maybe. Do you want to come out of this with a couple $100 or don't you?
The winners get $750 apiece.
Right. Less the bills.
What bills?
Look, this marathon don't run itself, you know. I got bills stacked up every day, and I keep tabs. It gets cost me money. Extra laundry, cleaning, phone calls, medical bills, you name it.
What is this?
It's the tabs and you and Robert.
You're charging me this?
Only if you win. If you don't win, you don't pay. I'm not out to cheat anybody.
Oh, Jesus.
Gloria, we have to get back.
What the hell's the point? Right. How's the other one? Well, don't just stand there. Why don't you help me?
What does it look like exactly?
Like this. What do you think it's going to look like? A necktie? I'll tell you one thing. I'm not leaving this goddamn stinkhole without it. That's the last pair I got. And I cut out streetcars for a month to get them.
Is this it?
No, for Christ's sake, it's silk.
I found it. Here it is. This it? Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry.
can fix it up or something, you know, sort of sew it up. Wait, let me see it. Maybe you can sew it up. I've still got 71 cents. Maybe I can...
Shut up! It's not the goddamn stocking anyway. Forget it.
I used to love to look at the ocean. Walk by it. Just sit and listen to it. Now I don't care if I ever see it again.
That. Or anything else.
What are you gonna do now? Try the movies again?
No. I'd never make it. And maybe it wouldn't make no difference even if I did. Maybe it's just the whole damn world is like central casting. They got it all rigged before you ever show up.
I know what you mean. I know just what you mean.
Do you?
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna get off its merry-go-round. I'm so sick of the whole stinking thing.
What thing?
Life. And don't give me no sunshine lectures.
I wasn't going to.
Then what were you looking at me that way for?
I wasn't. I was just trying to see your face.
We'll keep looking. Stick around for the end.
please.
Tell me when.
I'm ready.
No?
Now.
Move on. Better things to do. Beat it. Let's go.
Why'd you do it, kid?
She asked me to.
Obliging bastard. That the only reason you got, kid?
They shoot horses, don't they?
Yowza, yowza, yowza! Here they are again. These wonderful, wonderful kids. Still struggling, still hoping. As the clock of fate ticks away, the dance of destiny continues. The marathon goes on and on and on. How long can they last? A period. Come on!